What are the characteristics of blockchain? What are the ways to invest in blockchain? Blockchain characteristics and ways to invest. These days money is everything, and as we are entering the digital revolution, it is necessary to get handy on it. Similarly, blockchain is also a part of digitalization, as money is also turning digital these days. We all have been told by our investors that investment is always necessary for money to evolve. In the meanwhile, let's find out about the characteristics of blockchain and the ways to invest in it. Blockchain is said to be a chain of blocks that has all the information. A lot of people think that blockchain is Bitcoin and vice versa, but here's a news flash: it's not the case. To note, Bitcoin is a digital currency or cryptocurrency that functions on the technology of blockchain. It was invented by Satoshi Nakamoto, and each of its blocks contains a number of transactions. Each transaction is registered in the form of a hash, which is a unique address given to each block while it is created. Any other modification in the block leads to a change in its unique address. Characteristics of blockchain. Let's understand the primary characteristics of blockchain technology. Immutable. Blockchain is said to be a permanent and unalterable network that works through a collection of nodes, and each and every node has information about the digital ledger. Every node keeps an eye on the validity of the transaction, and, in case the majority of the nodes believe that it was a valid transaction, then it gets added to the network. In easy words, you can't get to any transaction blocks to the ledger without prior approval of a majority of nodes. Likewise, no validated registrations are irreversible, hence, they cannot be changed. Thus, any user on the blockchain network is restricted to editing, changing, or deleting it. Distributed. All the users on the network have a copy of the ledger in order to maintain complete transparency. A public ledger provides all the necessary information about the participants on the network and the transactions, while the distributed computational power across the computers makes sure that there is a better outcome. It is pertinent to mention that the distributed ledger is one of the important characteristics of blockchains. In the distributed ledger, any changes propagate faster, and every node on the network has been necessitated to maintain the ledger and take part in the validation. Likewise, any change in the distributed ledger gets updated in seconds or minutes. Since there is no involvement of intermediaries in the blockchain network, the validation for the change is done quickly. Similarly, if a participant wishes to add a new block, then other nodes will have to make a check on the verification of the transaction. To add a new block to the blockchain network, it is mandatory to be approved by the majority of the nodes. In a blockchain network, there is no special treatment or favors for any node, and everyone has to follow the standard procedure in order to add a new block to the network. Decentralized. First things first, the blockchain network is decentralized. It means no central governing authority is a decision maker. Instead, a group of nodes is responsible for making and maintaining the network. All the nodes in the blockchain network hold the same copy of the ledger. Moreover, the decentralization property proposes many advantages in the network. These include: the blockchain network is fully organized as it doesn't depend on human calculations. It is less prone to failure because of its decentralized nature. Since attacking the system is said to be more expensive for hackers, therefore, it is less likely to fail. No third party is involved in the network and, hence, there is no added risk in it. Decentralized nature of blockchain assists in creating a transparent profile for all the participants on the network. And thus, any change is traceable. Participants have control over their properties. They don't have to rely on any kind of third party to maintain and manage their own assets. Security. Security has always been a concern for anyone investing in a network that is online. Due to the consistent cybercrimes, people fear investing their money in digital platforms. However, the blockchain network emerges as one of the secured networks in order to provide their customers with an assurance of security. All the records in the blockchain network are encrypted individually, which gives another layer of security to the entire process. A lack of central authority does not mean that one can just add, update, or delete the data on the network. All the information on the network is cryptographically created with a unique address, which means that all the data has a unique identity on the blockchain network. Upon creation, all the blocks have a unique hash of their own. Besides, all the blocks are cryptographically linked to each other, and any attempt in modifying the data will require changing all the hash IDs, which is next to impossible. This means your investment is in safe hands. Consensus: every blockchain has an agreement to help the network in order to make a quick and unbiased decision. On the blockchain network, the consensus is a decision-making algorithm for the group of nodes to reach an agreement for the smooth functioning of the network. It is highly possible that the nodes won't trust each other, but the algorithm shall be trusted because it runs at the core of the network and assists in making quick decisions. There are so many consensus algorithms available, and each one of them might have its pros and cons, but in the blockchain network, the consensus algorithm has been focused so that it doesn't lose its value. Unanimous: before getting on board the network, the participants agree to the validity of the records so that when a node desires of adding a block, then it must get majority voting, or else it won't be added to the network. It is worth mentioning here that a node cannot add, update, or delete any information from the blockchain network, as every record is updated simultaneously. Besides, any kind of update propagates quickly within the network. Therefore, it is not possible to make any update or change without consent from the majority of nodes. Faster settlement: the traditional banking systems which are already in existence are said to be prone to a lot of reasons for the fallout. These include the delay in the transaction process after finalizing all the settlements. Hence, it may be corrupted easily. However, the blockchain network offers a faster settlement in comparison to traditional banking systems. Faster settlement helps make the process much easier. Blockchain technology is expanding and growing day by day. Indeed, it has a really bright future. Technology is said to be a pillar in making business even more secure, efficient, and effective. What are the ways to invest in blockchain? Note: a blockchain is a tool with a lot of purposes. However, there are no methods to invest directly in the blockchain network. In the meanwhile, you can invest in the technologies and companies that are developing their products and services using blockchain. You can also visit the official website of blockchain to go through further details about which sector of the blockchain network you want to invest in. Keywords: blockchain characteristics, blockchain network characteristics, how to invest in blockchain, ways to invest in blockchain network.